Welcome, this is BloombergQuint. Bata India has reported a steady growth in the December quarter with significant margins expansion, and which were also largely in line with consensus expectations. Let's go across to Sandeep Kataria, CEO of Bata India, to find out what's driving the numbers. Mr. Kataria, good morning and thanks for taking the time out. Let me start by asking you about what's driving growth and whether or not the dampened sentiment otherwise has had any impact on Bata's sales at this point in time.
Our continued strategy for the last 6 to 8 quarters is what's keeping us in good stead. We've been focusing on bringing new innovations to our consumers, which went on in this quarter as well, and bringing it with new improved features, new designs, and a much wider variety. The consumers seem to be liking it, and that's showing up in this quarter's results as well. To your second part of your question, yes, it is slightly slower as you look over the last few quarters, but we hope that the good work we are doing will continue to help us as we go forward.
Mr. Kataria, if you could give us an update on stores expansion, how things have panned out in the third quarter, what the next couple of quarters may have in store, as well as the fact that what are the main criteria that you have in mind before you decide that you want to open up a store in certain areas under certain conditions?
Sure. So our strategy on new store opening is actually twofold and quite clear. As a company, with the great footprint that we have and our brand awareness, the gap between the awareness and our availability is still quite large. What do I mean by that? We are available in about 650 towns in this country. We believe we have potential to go much wider, and therefore we are always looking for opportunities to tie up with franchisees, as well as open our own company stores where the unit of economics will allow us. So one is to expand our reach. The other is in the bigger towns, we look to upgrade our presence, always looking for opportunities when a new mall or a new trading area opens up. So that is more of a relocation sometimes of changing of the marketplace. Net, we opened 22 stores in the last quarter.
And when it comes to, well, I would say tier 2 and tier 3 towns, are you witnessing a lot of competition from regional players, sometimes unorganized players? And if so, how are you tackling these challenges?
The Indian footwear industry is a very competitive industry. There's a lot of very strong players, both local, regional, as well as international. And that is true for almost any tier of towns that you look at in the country. And tier 2 and tier 3 are no exceptions to that. And therefore, I think the same shows up as we go down. The nature of the competitor might change a little bit, in a big mall in Delhi versus a tier 4 town. But the competitiveness, I think, stays pretty strong.
All right, so in that case, that brings me to my next question, is that how are you witnessing the change in customer requirements or perhaps customer preferences, and how are you seeing Bata's product range evolve from, well, say about 4 quarters ago to what we can expect, well, in the upcoming 4 quarters?
Yeah, I think the Indian consumer is becoming more and more discerning. Also, as ladies step out more and more to work, their requirement is widening, and the repertoire needs to be much bigger than what it was earlier. We're trying to keep up with that by offering a much wider range of not just formals, which we are very, very strong and known for, but also in the relaxed formals, the smart casuals, a whole range of sneakers which we launched in this quarter. Therefore, being able to give the consumers what exactly they're looking for. In the ladies' side, we have a new range which we launched last year called 9 to 9, which pretty much is a range which allows her to be at work, but also be with her as she goes about the myriad things that life throws at her through the day.
All right, and final question, sir, then this one is to do with input costs. What kind of trends are you witnessing here, and any possible, well, impact on gross margins going forward, how it's been for the third quarter?
No, we look at this very closely, the cost optimization, whether it's into the cost of goods or another big cost for us, which is of course the rentals. Both of us, we try and leverage our economies of scale, also always evaluating if we can get even better sources. It has been benign over the last quarter. We hope our good work and continuously developing alternatives and improving that will hold us in good stead as we go forward.
Okay, fair enough, Mr. Kataria. We'll leave it at that. Thank you so much for joining us and talking to us here on BloombergQuint.
You're welcome. Thank you.
RP Sanjeev Goenka Group.